6th was not an isolated event.
In his first testimony since the attack on the Capitol, FBI Director Christopher Wray warned lawmakers of increasing threats from domestic terrorism and violent white extremists.
The problem of domestic terrorism has been metastasizing across the country for a long time now, and it's not going away anytime soon.
Wray says white supremacist groups who were among those who stormed the Capitol January 6th now make up the bulk of domestic terror threats, and told senators the Bureau already charged nearly 300 people linked to the insurrection.
More subjects being identified and charged just about every single day.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says it may be time the FBI broaden the definition of domestic terrorism.
KKK, a domestic terrorist group.
Well, there is no legal designation for domestic terrorism.
My point is, I don't know if we should have one or not, but I think it's time to think about it.
Democratic Senator Dick Durbin says it's crucial to take the threat seriously and stop ignoring warning signs.
For too long, our federal government has failed to address the growing terrorist menace in our own backyard.
But Wray insists the FBI is tracking threats and warned Capitol Police days before the recent attack.
It's enough just to send an email?
Well, it's more than just an email. Having said that, I do not consider what happened on January 6th to be an acceptable result. And that's why we're looking so hard at figuring out how can the process be improved.
Right.
Salute, salute, salute. What's good? Another Elite live stream. We back. How you guys doing out there? Welcome to another Elite live stream. And we gonna cook tonight, y'all, because this one we gonna get in. We gonna put it in. We gonna go hard because I take so much joy in upsetting these white racists. This is what I'm on YouTube for, y'all. I'm here to cook them. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It brings me so much joy to see how easily triggered these people get and how much fun I can have doing it, baby. And not only that, now we can actually monetize off of these fools. Ain't that just great? Isn't the world just a better place when we can go ahead, call out these people, and then as well monetize it? Oh my Lord. Yes, yes, indeed. This is what we do, man. This is what we here for, y'all. But first, let me make sure that we set the table. All right. So first things first. All right. What I need y'all to do is go over and follow my other channel, Elite Media Co. Right. We're getting some good views over there, you know, starting to generate a little bit of something. So I need all of you guys to go over and subscribe to that channel, please. Just so that, you know, we can diversify, right? We can diversify the stretch and the reach and make sure that we get that channel monetized. You feel me? Because that's what we doing, man. We gonna be cooking racist and we're gonna get paid for it. You best believe that. You best believe that. So what are we talking about today, right? And pull this up for y'all. So I know y'all saw the thumbnail, and the thumbnail, this is one of my best thumbnails I put together, man. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate you for subbing. Make sure you guys sub to my Elite Media Co channel, please. Make sure you guys are subbed over there too, because obviously, you know, on the YouTube streets, we got to make sure we keep both channels on and popping. All right. So thank you, Lynn. I appreciate you. So as you can see, they're already here. Friends with Matt. I am not a threat to anyone. Maybe you're not. I don't know. But the people we're talking about today definitely are. They definitely are. And we're going to cook their ass, because that's what we do over here, man. We got some people in the chat. We got, I don't even know, Fiona. I think that's Fiona. I am honored. Are you honored? Because I don't know who you are, bro. Hey, we need this stuff out 100%. 100%. We going to cook, because today we're going to talk about the real menaces to society. We're going to talk about the real threats to national security. We're going to talk about the real people who are out here wreaking havoc on the community. All right. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And mind you, everyone pictured here is a part of that. All right. These guys right here are deplorable human beings. They're racist bigots who are ignorant and who deserve to be put on blast because of it. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? We already cooked Chud the fairy. All right. We've already cooked him. And I mean, mind you, I think his whole shtick and attitude has a lot to do with his own internal, what I would say, secrets, right? Those skeletons in his own closet that he wants to overcompensate for. And mind you, a lot of these racists have the same exact background, right? Same with Nick Fuentes, right? Nick Fuentes has a very, very, very zesty past, if you know what I'm saying. All right. We got Nick Fuentes, right? We also got Tucker Carlson, who a lot of people try to give this dude credit for whatever the hell he does. I could care less about Tucker Carlson. He's a racist and a white nationalist who I have no respect for. Jake Lang, right? Jake Lang, who is a straight up loser. All right. This guy continuously takes L's, continuously loses, and we got to cook him, man. And last but not least, we must talk about the caveman and the knuckle dragging idiot, Alex Rosen. All right. This is one of the dudes who's been one of the main donors to Chud the Builder's GoFundMe and whatever he's got going on. Just an idiot. We're going to talk about all this stuff today, y'all, because when I speak about who the true biggest threat to national security is, it's these type of guys right here. And we're going to cook their ass tonight. That's just what we're going to do, because y'all know over here, this is what we do. We cook the racists. We cook these white nationalists. We get them up out of here real quick. So salute to Lynn. She's in the chat. She says, he just admitted that he is such a threat by answering to the title that you labeled those who are shown in this video. 100%. Because look, a hit dog is going to holler, right? A hit dog is going to holler if you feel convicted about what this statement means, right? If you feel as though you associate yourself with white nationalists and you are a part of this community, then listen, this is who you are, bro. Go ahead and look at the mirror, brother. And if it's not you, then you're going to let it fly. You're not even going to pay attention to this chat. You're not even going to pay attention to this video. But as we know, a hit dog is going to holler every single time. We already know that. Hey, trans, you already know brother was getting it right up the rear end. All right. We're going to keep it very PG-13 on YouTube here, but he was getting it in a real way. We know that. This is facts now. A woman came out. She already admitted to the fact of what she was doing with Chud and the disgusting behavior that he is a part of. A lot of these guys are a part of that, though, because like I said, there's an inferiority complex because they're not being true to who they are, y'all. If they would just be out and say, hey, man, I like guys. If they would just say, hey, man, I like trans women, I would I think their lives would be so much easier. But the fact that they have to deal with the conviction inside their own selves, because like I said, they're all playing a character, right? Trying to act like they're these hardcore Christian nationalists and stuff. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. And we're going to expose them tonight, y'all. Salute JNN. They're all losers. Hey, salute JNN. Hey, you one of the OGs who've been in here since day one. You know what I'm saying? So salute to JNN. Thank you. Hey, Lynn, she says the FBI stated the same thing. Yeah, and I got the video. If you just got in here, we're going to play the video right now. All right. So we're going to get into the video. I got a few clips I'm going to play. We're also going to get into the Channel 5 News expose that they did on the recent Chud the Builder rally that they tried to have, where only like 3 people showed up. Like, what a fucking loser, right? So salute to that. Yeah, we gonna get in tonight. Hey, so she said they're the biggest threat to national security, 100%. They've infiltrated the forces, political ranks, etc. Yes, and that's why I also included Nick Fuentes in this conversation, because Nick Fuentes is one of the key components of those people who is always pushing the line about the infiltration of his groypers into, like you mentioned, the armed forces, the political ranks, even our day-to-day construction workers and all those type of, professions, right? He's big on using those racist ideologies to infiltrate into these specific spots, I would say, so that they can push their own narratives, right? And we're not going to allow that around here, because F are racist all day. I saw her interview on Tasha K. Her life was hard. She is a woman, though, not trans, by the way. Oh, okay. Salute. I stand corrected, because if I'm not mistaken, when I saw the video, she showed that she has something going on down there. I didn't know if that was, you know what I'm saying? Listen, we try to keep it PG, so yeah, let's leave it there. But yes, Shelby the Builder, 100%, man, 100%. Yes. Hey, I miss you too, Jan, and I appreciate you. You've been here since day one, so much love always. Yes, I've been correcting people too. Yes. All right, thank you guys for correcting me, because I didn't know exactly what the identification was, but I appreciate y'all giving me that, man. Salute. All right, so now let me play you guys the video that I played on the intro of this live stream, so then we can start getting into it. All right, so let me put this up here. Here we go. There we go. There it is.
Testimony since the attack on the Capitol.
This was 5
FBI
years ago,
Director
okay?
Christopher
Right
Wray
before,
warned
right
lawmakers of
after the
increasing threats
insurrection.
from domestic terrorism and violent white extremists.
The problem of domestic terrorism has been metastasizing across the country for a long time now, and it's not going away anytime soon.
Wray says white supremacist groups who were among those who stormed the Capitol January 6th now make up the bulk of domestic terror threats, and told senators the Bureau already charged nearly 300 people linked to the insurrection.
More subjects being identified and charged just about every single day.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says it may be time the FBI broaden the definition of domestic terrorism.
KKK, a domestic terrorist group.
Well, there is no legal designation for domestic terrorism.
All right, now notice, right? Notice on this part, when he asked him about the KKK being a part of that distinction, right? When it comes to these groups, right? When it comes to domestic terrorism, right? And you notice how as soon as he asked him, he started to stammer. I found that very interesting, because that's something that I've always kind of found weird, is the fact that the KKK obviously has done the most damage when it comes to all white nationalist groups. But the fact that when they brought it up, he got very uncomfortable about the KKK, that was a tell to me. And mind you, it may not be like a direct, like in the face part, but it's a Freudian tell, right? Where it's something that's going on behind the scenes, and he knows that he really can't speak on that, but it scared him in a way where it's like, oh, I didn't know we was talking about the KKK. Yeah, we are. because they are a part of this. And that's why it was important for me to talk not only just about Chud, yes, Freudian slip, there you go, 100%. So that's why Chud is he's a part of a bigger problem right now that's going on in our country, right? Which is the fact that a lot of people try to get away from what the terroristic threat part, right? They try to get away from that and not associating with the white nationalist ideology, right? And that's why, from my personal standpoint, we got to stay on the ass about that, because this is real, right? This is a direct connection. All of these ideologies are all intertwined, right? The overcorrection of them trying their best to go out to antagonize foundational Black Americans specifically, right? Because of what they've done. And mind you, it's all connected. And we're going to make sure that we stay on the ass about this, right? Because there was something that I had to look up, you feel me? Because it was important to me, right? So the government lets these YT hate groups do their bidding 100%. That is a part of it. So let me give you guys a stat real quick, right? Let me give you guys a stat real quick. Let me pull this up right here. So there we go. All right. So what I did was I asked Google, and I said, Google, how many Black Americans have been unalived by the KKK, right? It brought back this answer. It says historians estimate that the KKK and alleged white supremacist groups killed tens of thousands of Black Americans, because many of these murders occurred in clandestine attacks, meaning that they were not reported, mass atrocities during the Reconstruction and Jim Crow era. Tracking an exact universal numbers is impossible to estimate. Okay, so we're talking about tens of thousands. And mind you, I think it's closer to hundreds of thousands. Okay, I think it's closer to hundreds of thousands, because there is documented history about entire towns, all right, being terrorized by the KKK. So let's continue, right? Congressional hearings in 1871 and 1872 estimated that 20 to 50,000 Black Americans and their white allies were killed in racial and political violence aimed at suppressing the Black vote. Modern historical research frequently revises the specific KKK attributable death toll during this period in the high thousands. All right, let's keep it a buck. Yes, this is facts. Like, these type of numbers obviously are kept on record when it comes to the Black American Holocaust Museum, right? Where they display, right? They display it so that people can see the volume of how many people were unalived by the KKK, right? Which is all a part of, like I mentioned, this white nationalist ideology of all these people who are going out here and doing this. Yeah, man, we've all been saying it, but now I need to make sure that I put this together for y'all so that we can continue to press the line and make sure that we stay on code about the numbers, because that's the most important part here, is us making sure that we continue to put out the content that backs up not only what we're saying, but as well the statistics, which are overwhelming. Okay, these statistics are overwhelming. They cannot deny it, right? Salute, JNN. And hey, Lynn, appreciate you in the chat. She says, and that's funny because that's how it's pronounced too. Yes, 100%. That is how it is pronounced, right? Lake Lanier, East St. Louis to Tulsa. Yes, Seneca, keep going, right? So let's talk about the lynchings and the racial territory aspects, right? So from the 1880s to the 1950s, documentation from the Civil Rights Organization, which is the Equal Justice Initiative reports over 4,400 documented racial terror lynchings of Black Americans between 1877 and 1950. While not all of these were formally claimed by the KKK, the organization superheaded much of this campaign, right? So we cannot continue to allow this to be, oh, we're just talking about Chud. No, there is a bigger problem here. And this is something that I'm making sure that I bring to the table, is the fact that these reports, what I'm talking about right now, the white nationalists being the biggest threats to national security, these reports were wiped once Donald Trump got into office. He wiped it from the FBI's records because this actual report was done in 2017. Okay? In 2017, this report was already documented. They had already been sending the government, hey guys, y'all need to get on top of this because these white nationalists are going crazy, man. Hey, salute. I have to submit some homework, but I'll definitely be back. Yeah, do your thing, Lynn. Appreciate you. All right. So JNN, this is why they will forever owe a debt, even after they pay cash, because they're going to pay with pause. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, man, because at the end of the day, these are the type of things that a lot of people aren't willing to talk about because, like I mentioned, YouTube can be really particular about the vocabulary, right, that we have to use enable for us to be able to even talk about these topics. All right. So that's why I'm being very careful about certain things I say, but I don't care anymore about the topic part because we're just going to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just going to talk about it because it needs to be talked about. This is a bigger issue than just Chud. Chud is a bigger part of the problem. Yes, but Chud is just one of those people who is a face for what these people want to continue to do, right? What up, Torian? Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for pulling up. Meaning it's going to, yeah, man, their generations are forever cooked. They will never be able to reach where they want for this country without paying the debt that is owed to foundational Black Americans. There will never be a time that we can go ahead and say, oh yeah, everything's all good until those debts are paid. And Mike, you mentioned it's just not about the money. All right. There's a lot of stuff that needs to get done, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be paid out, right? Because we're not playing with these people, y'all. So let's get back to this video here, right? Let's get back to it. But I'm gonna start it over just so that we can go in. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start it from the beginning. And mind you, this is from 5 years ago, right? This is right after the insurrection. So go ahead.
January 6th was not an isolated event.
In his first testimony since the attack on the Capitol, FBI Director Christopher Wray warned lawmakers of increasing threats from domestic terrorism and violent white extremists.
The problem of domestic terrorism has been metastasizing across the country for a long time now, and it's not going away anytime soon.
Wray says white supremacist groups who were among those who stormed the Capitol January 6th now make up the bulk of domestic terror threats, and told senators the Bureau already charged nearly 300 people linked to the insurrection.
More subjects being identified and charged just about every single day.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says it may be time the
now
FBI
watch how he
broaden the
acts about the
definition of
KKK.
domestic
Watch
terrorism.
this.
KKK, a domestic terrorist group.
Well, there is no legal designation for domestic terrorism.
My point is,
there's no legal designation for domestic terrorism, right? We always talk about the anti-Black hate crime bill, right? We're talking about that because it's so important, because there is no legal designation for these racists to be held accountable for what they're doing out here, man. That is Lindsey Graham, 100%. Salute Turian, and he says they're completely fine without paying that debt unless they are in on it. They don't want to pay up nothing. They don't, bro. And we got racists in here in this chat who are upset and feeling uncomfortable because they're being called out about it. Too bad, bro. Cry me a river. I don't care. Cry about it, dude. And not from us, from God. Yes, sir. The Most High, bro. The real God they don't believe in. Yes, sir. 100%. That is Lindsey Graham. Isn't it hilarious though that Lindsey Graham is the one actually talking about the KKK? Yes, sir. Because they don't want to legalize their own terrorism. Yes, they don't want to be held accountable, bro. They don't want to be held accountable. And it's too bad because at the end of the day, we got to keep pressing the line about this because obviously, like I mentioned, you could see the Freudian slip when he asked about the KKK, how uncomfortable he got, how flustered he was, where he said, yeah, bro. Yeah, we talking about them because they're a part of this. You ain't gonna just slip out the back door without mentioning one of the biggest hate groups in this country. Come on, man. What we talking about, bro? Hey, Torian, salute. He said, speaking of the anti-black hate crime bill, that Asian Rick Choi, I don't know. Rick Choi got found not guilty for pow-powing that black kid in the back and taking his life in South Carolina. Yeah, man, it's real sad, bro. I would love to deep dive into that, Torian. But if you do a stream on it, let me know, bro, so I can watch and get some knowledge from that because I don't know enough about what happened, but I definitely need to look into that, man, because I heard a lot and I've been seeing it through my timeline. So I gotta peep that, bro. And it's destroying them. It is, man. Like I said, they'll never be able to recover from this. We're too far gone. So the best practice for foundational Black Americans right now is getting our bread and getting out of Dodge, bro. We don't got time to be dealing and going back and forth with these people no more. They're their own worst enemy, 100%. Great for us, though, if we do our part. Yes, 100%. That's what I mean, bro. If we collectively start to make the push that we are for reparations, for the anti-black hate bill, making sure that we stay on code about those land grants, making sure that we stay on code about the small businesses that we need to implement in our community, we can start the infrastructure that's necessary to separate ourselves from these people, man, because there is no trying to get these people to understand. They're past the point of understanding, in my opinion. Some people, they want to have these conversations and go back and forth with these people. I'm not in that spot. I'm ready to go ahead and completely focus on us and do what we got to do without having to interact or to even have conversations with these people because they're idiots, man. They don't want to. They don't want to change. All right. You have, and that's the part of change that's most important. You can't change, and if you don't want to, and they don't want to, because there's always excuses. There's, well, it wasn't me. Well, I didn't do nothing. It was other people. It wasn't me. Yeah, but you're not holding anybody accountable. You're not holding your friends accountable. You're not holding your family members accountable for their racism, for their prejudices. You're not. So if you're not going to do that, bro, we good. Let us focus on us and give us our check. Enough with everything else, bro. I don't got time for that, dog. So let's continue on this video, man.
Domestic terrorist group.
Well, there is no legal designation for domestic terrorist.
My point is, I don't know if we should have one or not, but I think it's time to think about it.
Democratic Senator Dick Durbin says it's crucial to take the threat seriously and stop ignoring warning signs.
For too long, our federal government has failed to address the growing terrorist menace in our own backyard.
That couldn't be more facts. And it has been happening for hundreds of years. All right. Since our ancestors were brought here and since they encapsulated us for those who are indigenous to these lands, they have never addressed this problem that is sitting right in their own house. Right. The problem is from within. It has nothing to do with foundational Black Americans. Y'all need to address your people. And that's why I said they don't want to get better because they're not willing to hold their people accountable, y'all. They always talk about the Black community and us not holding each other accountable. But I know for a fact that there are so many Black people who are personally in my family and in my friend group and who are around me who constantly are holding other Black people accountable for the BS that they be doing. So I don't like those conversations when they trying to be talking about, oh yeah, black people, y'all need to hold each other accountable. Y'all need to, we are, bro. We've been doing it for a long time, but we're not a monolith. Okay. And there's so many outside entities that we have to deal with on top of as well addressing our own selves. And mind you, we still do that. So when we talk about these white nationalist groups and the fact that he's saying that this has been brewing for years, no, bro, generations, not just years, generations. This has been going on for generations. And if y'all not willing to address the problem in your own house, don't come over here trying to tell us what to do, bro, because I don't want to hear it. And a lot of us feel the same exact way, man. It's not our job. Facts, bro. It's not. You have to hold your people accountable, dog. Straight up. Lindsey Graham is a gaslighter, 100%. And he's a liar. He's a liar because there are so many things that I could go to, bro. I'm telling y'all, I got receipts, bro. I got receipts, bro, of this dude, Lindsey Graham, constantly trying to talk crazy, but he ain't holding his own people accountable. So F Lindsey Graham, bro. F Lindsey Graham, bro. F him, dog. Salute to Tori. He says they love to tell us to hold the entire community accountable. How can I hold someone accountable? I don't. Bro. Torian, a round of applause for Torian. Come on, bro. What are we talking about? What are we talking about, bro? How, bro? How do you guys expect us to do that when y'all aren't even doing it yourself, bro? Straight up. I'm not finna be going back and forth with these people when I know that you ain't even cleaned up your own house. Your own house is dirty, but you coming over here to try to tell me about how dirty my house is, bro. Come on, man. Throwing stones when you live in a glass house is the ideology of these white nationalist idiots, bro. They're idiots, fam. They don't get it. And I am not responsible for someone who lives 3 states away that I have no connection to. 100%, bro. That is why it is so important and why we are in such a special time right now. As foundational Black Americans, we are now starting to get on code and we are holding each other accountable the best that we can, right? Because we are not a monolith, bro. There's 49 million of us. Sure, yes, there are things we need to work on, 100%. But guess what? We doing the best that we can with the little resources that we even have, bro. Y'all got everything. You guys had everything. Everything was gifted to you on a silver platter, and y'all still can't get right. Come on, bro. What are we talking about, man? And we still got to deal with y'all. We still got to deal with Chud the Builder. Well, Chud the Fairy out here antagonizing Black people. All these other fools, man. These guys right here. All right. Let me take this down and let me put this up right now for y'all. These dudes, we still got to deal with these idiots every single day on social media, bro. These fake fools. All right. All these dudes, we got to still deal with them trying to say crazy stuff about us. And then when we defend ourselves, oh, now we're piling on. Now we doing too much. Oh, you guys are supporting Carmelo Anthony when he's a murderer? Yeah, bro. We put hella money on that GoFundMe, just like y'all did for this fool. Hey, man, times is changing, bro. We done with trying to play the moral compass and trying to be the good guy, trying to be, oh, yeah, you know, it's not an even playing field, so we done playing fair. This is not an even playing field. It's never been an even playing field for us. So why would we play fair with y'all? No, bro, them days is over, bro. It's done, dog. We cool. We over that, bro. It's enough, dog. Y'all could have y'all little time and y'all little spaces to talk about whatever you want to. But over here, we gonna hold these menace to societies accountable. The real menace to societies, the ones who have been doing damage for generations to our people. All right. So let me read you guys some more stats. Okay. During its peak in the 1920s, when the Klan boasted over 2 million members, 2 million members, okay? And this is why it's so important when I talk about the numbers. When they said it was tens of thousands, no, hundreds of thousands. Because if there was 2 million KKK members in this country, you can't tell me that they only killed 10 to 20,000 Black Americans. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here, bro. Salute to Tia. This is our field, but we got to own it. Yes, indeed. And that's what we doing. We standing on business. We out here in the community. We boots on the ground. A lot of us are in our community doing the work. Now, all we have to do is keep going, baby. Just keep going. Keep the momentum, foundational Black Americans. Stay on they ass. We not messing around, man. We gonna keep going because we are the soil. You're right, JNN. We are the soil. All right. So look, during its peak in the 1920s, the Klan boasted over 2 million members. The organization conducted mass unalivings, bombings, and public lynchings, with one based on the BBC News analysis citing over 400 Black Americans were killed in 1 decade alone. Nah, bro. Y'all not gonna play about this, bro. In the 1920s, they had over 2 million KKK members that were terrorizing our communities, that were terrorizing our spaces during Jim Crow and segregation, when we were supposed to be on our side safe. They would come over to where we were and terrorizing us, man. Come on, man. Get out of here, bro. Salute to Tia. She says, I work for a Black business. I prefer to corporate America. Yes, everybody knows my history. I come from corporate America. I worked in corporate America for 12 years straight. Okay. Wore the suit, you know what I'm saying? Did the whole cubicle, all that stuff. It's a wrap. Never again. I won't do it. It is not the place for us, man. Salute, JNN. Yeah, I understand a lot of my Black Americans. We have to work in corporate America because obviously you have to provide for your family. You got to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. 100%. We all been there. But at the end of the day, what we not going to do is not act like that is not a system that's set up for us as foundational Black Americans to fail. All right. All these other groups, you already know how they play against us in the office. You already know the politics they play against us in these spaces. All right. We ain't even got to talk about that because I've done a whole video on it. All right. So salute to y'all. Good to learn the ropes, but then get out. Yes, indeed. 100%. I learned how to run a business, how to conduct a business, how to be professional, how to move in these corporate spaces and in these boardrooms. That's what we need. So then when we start to create our own economies, we will have our own encapsulation. So salute to y'all, man. Thank you. Torian, salute, brother. He says, even when we separate, they still manage a way to slither their way over to our side like a serpent. And that's why the movie Sinners was just so powerful for us as foundational Black Americans, because it was a metaphor, right? It was a metaphor for how a lot of those instances, right? The going to the shops, right? We had to go to the shops, and who was the owners? The Asians, right? We had to do business with them, right? We had to barter and figure out how we could get goods, right? Then we go and we want to buy some land, right? Who we got to buy it from? The white man, right? So we doing business with him. Meanwhile, he's a grand wizard. Okay, right? We got to deal with that. Then we start to open our business, and our business is now patronized by our people. And guess who show up? The vampires. All right. That's why that movie was so powerful and it resonated so much with us, because it was a part of who we gone through and the experiences that we go through even in 2026. You know what I'm saying? So salute, Torian. Thank you. Hey, salute Charles Lester. He says, great broadcast, FBA Renaissance movement, reparations in the form of cash payments, and an anti-Black hate crime bill. Yes, indeed. This is what we need, Charles. This is what we doing. This is what we going for. Salute, Charles. You already know, man. Hey, they are obsessed with us 100%. They have to consistently keep us down or in our place to maintain their self-esteem. Yes, just like I talked about earlier, right? We talked about Chud and his own inadequacies, right? His secrets, the skeletons in his closet, right? The fact that he isn't comfortable in the man that he is because of the disgusting and despicable things that he wants to cover up. Meanwhile, that's who he truly is. He truly is that guy wearing the fairy costume. That's who he really is, right? But he has to put on the costume, right? The cowboy hat, the mustache, right? The brandishing weapons, right? But in reality, he's actually a fairy deep down. And like I mentioned, if they just accepted who they were and said, I like men, I like wearing dresses, I like cross-dressing, bro, I mean this, you would be so much happier in your life. But the fact that a lot of them aren't willing to do that, and mind you, they want to push that onto us in our community. Nah, bro, a lot of that type of behavior started actually in the European community. But y'all don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about Rome and what was going, bro, because I could go in, bro. I really could go in on the fact of where this behavior comes from. But we're going to do that in another stream, all right? So salute, JNN. Their entire existence here abroad is built on keeping Black people in every form destitute. Yes, sir. And we don't got time for that, bro. We not playing with these people, man. We not. So true, but we are wiser. We got this. Yes, we do. We got this. We got to continue to encourage one another. We got to continue to smash the gas on these racists, and we got to continue to bring forward the facts, right? So let me read you guys some facts about these white nationalists, okay? Because that also plays a part, because like I mentioned, in 2017, there was a report that came out that specifically talked about these white nationalists and the threat that they are to national security. When Donald Trump became president, he made it his business to wipe that from the entire FBI records, which was intentional, okay? This was intentional because he understands that the grassroots media is now going to become the media, right? Because nobody trusts mainstream media anymore. Now, grassroots media has replaced it. And that's why a lot of his constituents and the people that work for him came from podcasting. They came from YouTube. That's all by design. And we got to wake up and pay attention to this stuff, especially if we're in this space of media. All right. So that is important. What's up, V? Salute, V. Appreciate you. So look, let's talk about it, right? So let me get this up here. All right. So I went and said, white nationalists are the biggest threat to national security, right? I put that in Google, right? It says national security agencies, including the FBI and DHS, have identified domestic violent extremism driven by white supremacist and white nationalist ideologies as the most persistent and lethal domestic terrorist threats in the United States. Okay? This is a part of reporting, all right? They have already been studying these groups, but obviously we understand how trend goes, right? And the trend has now switched from being far left to now far right. So with the far right being in power, I mentioned this, Donald Trump made it his business to wipe all these reports away, but he didn't do it good enough because people like me, right? People like Torian, people who are in this media space have been hearing about these stories for a very long time, have been seeing these reports for a very long time. So I already knew when I was putting together this stream, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about this because like I mentioned, this is a part of a bigger piece of this puzzle that Chud the Builder plays a part in. Nick Fuentes plays a part in this bigger circle of the white nationalist ideology that is being very pervasive in emboldening these racist, ignorant people to do what they've been doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. All those YT groups that he wiped are about to turn on the orange man and come for him. We already saw what happened on the insurrection. He doesn't think that can happen to him, but it will. It will happen to him. Trust me when I say this, all right? And that's important when we talk about not only the civil unrest, but the civil war that Chud wants to, what would I say? He wants to start. He wants to be the spark, right? He wanted to spark that, right? So we ain't playing with these people, bruh. He is gonna get locked up. Yeah, man. We already know that. We already know that's gonna happen. All right, so let me bring up another video before we get into the Channel 5 news video. All right. So this video actually happened 3 days ago. Okay. This was in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So any of my FBAs out there in Virginia, y'all be on notice. Okay, because this is happening out there with y'all. All right. So let me go ahead and remove that. And let me add this. Okay. So this, like I mentioned, Virginia Beach, Virginia. This was posted 3 days ago on CBS News. All right. So let's watch this.
Right now, the Virginia Beach chapter of the NAACP is speaking out about a recent march at the oceanfront. News 3 has obtained these pictures of the group Patriot Front last Saturday. Now, experts with the program on extremism at George Washington University say this is a white supremacist group formed after the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville back in 2017. Virginia Beach police confirmed the march.
What did I mention? I mentioned 2017 specifically, right? To the year. Okay, because like I mentioned in 2017, that report had came out and it flew kind of under the radar, right? Specifically in the social media space, right? But a lot of smaller YouTube channels were talking about this, right? In 2017, I was still in the music industry, so I wasn't doing this type of content, but I was very privy to these reports because I was on social media just like y'all. And like I mentioned, in 2017, this report came out and it was Donald Trump's business as soon as he got into office to wipe that report off of the FBI's records because he knew that when the grassroots gets a hold of this, once all of these groups start to get emboldened and start hitting the streets, that we would say, oh, no, this is just happening now. No, bro, this has been going on even before the pandemic. 2017, bro. That's almost 10 years ago. We not playing with y'all. I told y'all I'm gonna bring the receipts every single time. We're not gonna play these games with these people, y'all. They already knew this was gonna be happening. Chud the Builder, he's just a byproduct of the radicalization of these fools and ignorant people who already have something inside of themselves that they cannot address. So they hit the streets with masks on, right? And they always talk about our youth wearing masks and wearing shiesties, but look at these clowns scared to show their face, bro. These are cowards.
Marchers were part of the extremist group, and officers say the march posed no threat to public safety. Beach police also said that their choice to wear masks was lawful, despite a Virginia law that made it unlawful to wear a mask to conceal their identity. Okay. Hold up. Wait. So wearing masks in Virginia is actually illegal, but they could just walk the streets. This is why it's very important for y'all to understand the systemic part of this. The fact that the police, the fact that law enforcement could be a part of these groups, which what is the saying? Rage Against the Machine said those who are part of forces are the same who burn crosses, right? Zach De La Rocha said that. Those who are part of forces are the same that burn crosses, right? And look, I'm one of the biggest Rage Against the Machine fans. I was in the mosh pits with the homies. You know what I'm saying? Young punk rock. Come on, man. I was in there.
You know what I'm saying? Especially in California. The punk rock scene out here is insane. I was in those pits. All right. But a big part of the punk scene is there is also a far right part of that. So a lot of me and my brothers, we would be catching fades with these dudes. Straight up. Outside of shows, outside of these punk shows. Nah, we was catching fades with these dudes because we already knew the history of punk rock music, which was created by Black Americans, Bad Brains specifically, right? Was one of my favorite bands. So me associating myself with the Black American punk rock scene, nah, when you on that racist stuff, when you want to wear them swastikas, you want to have them skinheads, yeah, let's catch this fade, bro. We gonna catch the fade, bro, and we gonna see what's up. And every single time we getting our respect. We don't play that shit over here, bro. Not me, bro. We don't play that, bro. We gonna catch the fade straight up.
Public. The Virginia Beach NAACP shared a statement with us saying, in part, quote, while the group may not have shouted words during their march, they carried instruments and symbols of hate in the flags and imagery they displayed. Continuing their quote, silence does not erase the message being communicated. The Virginia Beach oceanfront should be a place where families, residents, and tourists of every race, religion, ethnicity, and background feel safe and valued.
All right, so enough with the NAACP trying to include everybody else when they specifically be targeting Black Americans. But that's another conversation. Salute to Torian. He says Carnival Cruise wanted to make a checklist to check Black people, but where's the checklist for Timothy Hudson, who violated and unalived his stepsister on that cruise line last November? Facts, bro, because we already know they're the biggest perpetrators and unalivers on this continent, on this planet, bro. All right. We already know that they are the biggest unalivers, the biggest R-worders, the biggest predators on this freaking planet. But there's never any stipulations or anything put in place for these people to make sure that they get what they need to get. But nah, Black people, nah, we doing too much. We having too much fun. We the ones who, you know what I'm saying? We messing up the cruises. Yeah, right, bro. Shut up. I think so stupid and so ignorant. I swear, sometimes with this country, bro, I just be so annoyed, bro. I swear I do. I swear I do, because these people are just so ignorant. They are. All right. So now let's get into the Chud the Builder rally, right? So apparently there was supposed to be a rally that was organized by this loser, right? Hold on, let me pull that down and let me pull this up. By this loser right here. It was supposed to be organized by this guy, right? This loser. This loser, look at him getting beat up in the street, man, because they can't defend themselves. Jake Lang put this together. Yeah, what rally? Yeah, exactly, Torian. I didn't even know there was a rally until they posted about it, right? So Channel 5 News, salute to Channel 5 News. Jake Lang is a scumbag, a big one, bro, a big one. So salute, he says, I'm asking in the sense where there was nobody there. Yeah, man, nobody was there. Facts, like nobody went. It was a complete failure, all right? But this loser right here, Jake Lang, was trying to organize it. Mind you, he had already been locked up because he was chimping out in the courtroom, couldn't contain himself, didn't know how to be or have decorum in a courtroom where they don't play that stuff. Judge went ahead and locked his dumb ass up. So he tried to create a rally where he's talking about free Chud, right? Free Chud the Builder. So we're gonna react to this rally. Okay, we're gonna react to it. We got Channel 5 News reporting. Salute to Channel 5. I love their channel. I think they have a really fun channel. Obviously, it gets really deep in their journalistic endeavors, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's raw, and I like that, man. I like what they do over there. So we gonna react to this video. Let's go.
That people who shoot other people on racist principles deserve to go to prison for it.
Look at this chimping out. You following me to my truck now? We got 18 rounds for you. We ain't got nothing else.
The social media influencer known as Chud the Builder is now facing an attempted murder charge after a shooting today outside the Montgomery County Courthouse.
Support.
Now, you guys notice how the victim, they put his mugshot, right? You guys notice that? You notice how the victim, his mugshot gets put up there. He's a victim and also a veteran. They could have used his picture where he's got his uniform on as a veteran who protected this country, who put his life on the line for this country. No, they used a straight up mugshot, bro. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. They used his mugshot and he was the victim. This is why I cannot stand mainstream media. I cannot stand mainstream media because they do this every time. They show who they are every single time, whether it's the right or the left. Their mainstream media always paint us as the aggressor. They always paint us as the ones who need to, like, bro, what? He was the victim. He was the one who was being antagonized. And they put his mugshot. Bro, I swear, bro. I swear, bro.
Shooting today outside the Montgomery County Courthouse.
Support freedom of speech. I believe he acted in self-defense.
That's what happened. Chud was assaulted. He defended himself.
Not acting in self-defense. I've watched the videos.
Why are you acting like a right now?
Acting like a what?
You heard me. Sit down. Keep coming up.
We gonna press me?
I'm gonna mace your ass real quick.
I don't want to get pepper sprayed. I really don't.
Go pick up my hat. You heard me.
Now look, man. I know this is triggering, so we're going to put a trigger warning off top. But this is the type of stuff he was doing to people. This is the type of stuff he was doing to Black Americans. This is the type of stuff he was going out and antagonizing people with while brandishing weapons, while being a coward. All right? You want to talk crazy? Knuckle up, bro. Catch the fade, bro. Let's see what's up, bro. Stand on it. Don't use no weapons, though. That's the thing. They always talk about us ganging up on people and us attacking people and us being the aggressors, right? He's out here antagonizing people and he ain't willing to catch the fade. Nah, bro, catch the fade. I want to see what these do, bruh. Let's see how tough you are for real, Chud. Let's see how tough you are for real, Jake. Let's see how tough you are for real, Alex, Nick. Come on, bro. Let's see, bro. Put down the weapons and let's see what these do. Because y'all know when it come to these, ain't nobody messing with us when it come to these, bro. Ain't nobody, bro. Nobody. Guaranteed. You want to know why? Because boxing is dominated by Black Americans. Who's every single champion in every single division is a Black American. Man, come on, bro.
Seen the posts.
Ooga booga. Look how he's chimping out.
I think he was very, very clear about what he intended to do.
Should have blew his brains out that night. I almost feel like it's going to happen.
And I believe he should be held accountable.
How's it going? This is Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan. Andrew is in Iran right now, so he can't make it. But we are at Montgomery County Courthouse where
I gotta stop just for this. They don't, bro. They don't want these, bro. They don't want to knuckle up, bro. We could just catch the fade and it'll be cool. Like, I'll actually respect you more. I have some respect for you if you ready to catch these, bro. But y'all not ready to catch these. Y'all don't want these, bro. Y'all don't want no smoke when it come to these, bro. You don't, bro. Y'all don't. And I see it, bro. They know they can't live without our energy. I only give my energy to my own facts. They know that. And that's why he was going around here trying to create content off of us, because he know saying that N-word, that's going to get you a slap upside your head. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us ain't going for that. Oh, no, it's just a word. Nah, bro. You call me the N-word, we catching the fade. I don't care. I don't care how to make me look. I don't care who you are. I do not care. You call me the N-word, we catching the fade, bro. We catching the fade. And if you got a weapon, please believe me, you ain't going to be the only one.
Jake Lang advertised a free Chud the Builder rally. For those of you that don't know, Chud the Builder is an online agitator who came to prominence a few weeks ago, brandishing weapons at people while calling them the N-word.
I think this is an FBI psychops.
And earlier this week, he shot somebody, which was the obvious outcome. There's not really anybody here, but we do see some people right here. I see somebody.
Roots.
How's it going? We had heard that there was a free Chud the Builder rally.
That's exactly why I'm here.
That's why you're here?
Yeah, I was calling it Cap because I didn't think he was actually going to come. I drove around a little bit ago and didn't see anyone, so.
Is the political climate of this town kind of favoring Chud the Builder, or?
No. It would absolutely be the minority. It's funny, actually, because me and some of my friends had reached out to the mayor like 6 months ago when this first started happening, saying that this exact thing was going to happen. So,
now listen, what did I mention earlier is the fact that they ignore these types of events or these types of people. They let them do whatever they want, bruh. And that's because the system has created a way for them to be encapsulated and not being able to be held accountable for this stuff. And that's why the anti-Black hate crime bill is so important. It is paramount that we get that going, because there is a system in place that allows these Chud the Builder types, these Nick Fuentes types, these guys to get out here and do this type of behavior, because they know ain't nothing gonna happen to them. There's no incentive to tell them, hey, if you do this, bro, you're going to federal prison. And that's why we need that. We need that a federal anti-Black hate crime bill, so that these dudes can be held accountable for the BS that they be doing. But they ain't gonna do it. They not.
disappointed, but at least no one died, I guess. I think that even though it seems like it's a super red state, that there's not a lot of people that are actually like standing on it in public, if that makes sense. Like, I walk around with a fuck ice pin on my bag and no one's ever said anything to me.
Have you seen anybody that you think is a free Chud the Builder supporter?
Here?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
I'm here in support of Dalton Etherly and an advocate for the First Amendment. I believe he acted in self-defense, and Tennessee is very clear about stand your ground law.
All right, so this is also the new talking point is free speech, right? Free speech. And that's why I also did the specific stream about you can have free speech, but that does not come without consequences. Both have to be associated with one another. Just because you can say whatever you want, sure, that's fine. But guess what? There will be consequences for you saying whatever you say. That's just facts. Can't nobody tell me or call me the N-word and I'm not gonna slap you or I'm not gonna fire on you, bro. No, bro. You gotta hold the consequences that come with that word. And not only that, you should be deplatformed. No platform on the internet should allow any of these people to be able to go out here making content that is antagonistic and racist towards Black Americans. You should be deplatformed immediately. And that's why it's important that we see the fruits of that labor, right? Chud gets deplatformed, he's out of there. Nick Fuentes got deplatformed, he's out of there. You know what I'm saying? And what's that other dude's name? Jake Lang, he's out of there. All these dudes need to be deplatformed because that is important. Consequences must come as well behind your free speech wall that you want to hide behind. No, bro. You call me the N-word, we catching a fade, bro. That's just what it is. We're not going back and forth about this. That's why we need the anti-Black hate crime bill. Facts. We ain't going back and forth, man. We not, bro. We not. Straight up. The South Africa, you cannot say their version of the N-word. Yeah, man. You go to jail for that. Straight up. And it should be federal. That's what I mean. This should be a federal crime. You go out here being antagonistic towards Black Americans, you need to be locked up in a federal prison. Nobody needs to be even arguing this. You need to be deplatformed. You need to be put in a federal prison. And mind you, put them in general population, baby. Put them out there and let them fight, bro. You got to catch a fade, bro. We need that. Yeah, we need that. You got to get out there and catch a fade. Go out there with them. You wanted to be a racist? Okay, you can go to a prison where racial politics are the rule of the day. You will love it there, won't you? You get to be with your little white friends, and then guess what? Y'all gonna catch hell. Y'all gonna catch hell, not only from the other groups, but as well from Black Americans up in there who got to defend what they got to defend. And that's just facts, man. Straight up. Go in there. You'll have a great time. And mind you, Chud likes men, so I think that would actually be fun for him. You get to partake in that part of the jail system too, my guy.
And I don't think that he did anything unlawful. It's not attempted murder. He was attempting to prevent his own murder. He has a right to defend his life, his liberty, and the pursuit of happiness per the.
Listen to me, bruh. These women like this is why I also make it clear that when it comes to YT women, they also aid and embed the behavior of their men. Look at her. That's why she's so old looking. That's why she's so drawn out and dried out. It's because of the hate that they also possess, right? Because let's keep it a buck. Here we go. Let's get into it. Because she also has things inside of herself that she's not willing to admit. And you already know she be getting that BBC behind Brad's back. We know that. We already know how the COCK, right? We know how that goes, right? We know how that plays out. She in, cahoots with the BBC while her husband sits in the corner and watches. These are these type of women, all right? Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck here, all right? Hey, yes, 100%. She's probably 25, 26, and she looks like she's 60, my guy. Becky is crazy. 100% they are, bro. They're tripping, bro. It ages you. Yes, it does. The hate ages you. The prejudice ages you. The worrying about other people, not minding your business ages you. They need to mind their business. Worry about yourself. Worry about the problems that you got in your community. Don't worry about what we got going on. You need to worry about yourself. All right. The bad genetics. Yes, sir. Aging like milk. Aging like milk. All right. Look, that's what I said. Just look at the demeanor. Look at her face. You already know what it is. Where's her husband? Where's your man? Where's your husband? Why are you out here? I can almost guarantee that she's not married.
The reality is this is America. We have rights and liberties that we must exercise and be able to maintain. We can't.
Look at his build, y'all. I want you guys to peep the build. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of inferiority complexes with these guys, all right? There's a lot of inferiority complexes that they have within themselves, right? And so they need to have somebody to hate on. They need to have somebody to look down on, all right? This is just a part of their culture.
Have any inch of those liberties being taken from us.
If we lose the First Amendment, they're going to come for the Second Amendment. And we need the Second Amendment to defend the First Amendment.
This guy who assaulted Chud, and Chud went to defend himself, and now he has a book being thrown at him. Chud had every right to self-defense. Yes.
Now, they're all talking self-defense, right? And this is coming from somebody who has a concealed carry license, all right? I have no problems with having a weapon. Do your thing. But at the end of the day, what we're not going to do is skip over the fact that what he was doing was antagonistic behavior. And they talk about this if you've ever gone to a firearm safety class, all right? You cannot stand in a bladed stance towards someone, antagonizing them, while as well having a firearm. That is against the law, and your self-defense claim is immediately thrown out. Okay? This is a part of what you learn if you do partake in concealed carry licensing classes. Okay? So if you are holding a bladed stance, if you are antagonistic towards someone and you have a weapon, you cannot claim self-defense. Okay? You can't. It just doesn't work. All right? Straight up, he got udders, man. Yeah, he got problems, bro. They all got problems, bro. Hey, salute to Don Johnson. Thank you for coming through. She says, or he, penis envy is embedded in their DNA. Yeah, that's why a lot of our ancestors were emasculated through their genitalia. It's very gross, bro, but they are obsessed with it. It's very gross, dog. But that's what I mean. There's an inferiority complex that they all have inside of themselves. And that don't got nothing to do with us, man. That don't got nothing to do with us, bro. You can have your own inferiority complexes And like I mentioned, Chud, he's obviously dealing with his own sexuality. He's obviously gay, right? This is just facts. Nick Fuentes is gay, right? I would say this guy, I'm gonna keep going with the video, man.
He was a provocative person, and there was premeditation in that provocation. But what he was trying to exemplify is...
Imagine admitting that there was premeditation in his provocation, but then as well, you're trying to claim self-defense. It doesn't work like that, idiot. All right? This guy's an idiot. He's stupid. He doesn't understand what concealed carry license entails, and as well, the rule set that it entails, right? I'm in California. So naturally, you have to have a license to conceal and carry here in California. I don't know what the laws are in Tennessee, but here in California, you have to take classes, and there are specific languages that speak about this. Okay? So, like I mentioned, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, bro. You standing in a bladed stance, you're antagonizing somebody, you're gonna get what you get. Okay? And like I said, look at the build. Look at his build. He needs to worry about his own health. He probably needs to stop intaking so much calories so that his body doesn't look like Hank Hill. Okay? You got Hank Hill over here talking about concealed carry laws that he doesn't even know how to articulate. You feel me? Get out of here, bro.
That we have the ability and the freedoms in America to exercise our liberties to the full extent, and that we should possess the full extent of our liberties and our rights, and those things should be maintained.
I strongly think that Chud the Builder was antagonizing that man and was not acting in self-defense, but I'm not out here specifically for the bond hearing. I just saw on Link's posts and stories that he was trying to get people out here to like protest and put up a banner and stuff, and we saw Lang once at like 8:30 in the morning. Didn't see him again.
And what?
That's it. They're cowards, man. They don't want no smoke when you really got to come outside, man. When you really got to come outside, these guys don't want no smoke, man. They really don't. Yes, understand the coding language. Yes, sir. That's why it was important for me to start the stream the way that I started it, so that we could have the slow escalation, so that we can see the grand scope, the full picture of what these people are trying to act like they're standing behind. But what they don't even understand is there is actually a bigger problem here. And this lady who's trying to defend him, that dude that was trying to defend him, they don't even know what was really going on. So ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah, hey, 90% of them are. Yes, we already know and heard about the rumors about when there's these right-wing rallies and how the homosexual apps are spiking when these guys are in town. We already know what that is. Straight up. Salute to Tia. She says, one of my vet uncles who passed away lit a LIICT up back in the day when you weren't allowed to touch them. He gave him a ride back to another neighborhood that didn't like him. The LIICT kept quiet. Yep. Listen, man, we know it. We know what's going on. Okay. We know what's going on. All right. A lot of these, they have real issues, man. That's all I'm going to say. JNN, salute. He says, but we have to understand their psychology. They don't feel free unless they can abuse us. Their freedom means being able to openly practice racism. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Let's give a round of applause. A round of applause for JNN, because that's what they really want to say. That's what they really want to say. They really just want to say, we want to be racist to you guys, and you guys can't do nothing about it. And I wish they would just say that. But they're not going to say that because they're cowards and they don't want the consequences that come behind that. Okay, bet. You're racist. Fine. But what you're not going to do is call me no N-word to my face and me not do nothing to you. Nah, bro. We not going for that. Because mind you, our ancestors was the same way, but those Jim Crow laws, there was a system that protected these white folks from being able for us to retaliate. Those days are over now. You do that to us, we own you, man. Yo, hey, salute. Hey, we're gonna keep going though. All right, so Torian Salute, he says, remember they said it goes off like crazy during their conservative gatherings. Yes, I mentioned this, bro. They are homosexuals, man. They have their own ideologies and their own insecurities within themselves. And so what they do is they want to put that onto us. Nah, bro, deal with your own demons and the reason why you can't deal with it. That has nothing to do with us, bro. Stay away from us with that behavior because we don't want to deal with it, bro. We don't have nothing to do with that, bro. You already know foundational Black Americans, specifically foundational Black American men, we are very conservative in that way. We don't play them games. I don't play that stuff. Okay. So we don't like that. We don't get down like that, man. And not to knock anybody's lifestyle. Do what you do, but don't come over here with your overcompensation, trying to be racist because you're gay. Like what? Like, come on, bro. Like handle that, fam. Get that together, dude. Worry about yourself. We're dealing with seriously spiritual devoided people. Yes, they're demons. They're demons, real life demons, bro, in real time. Salute. You know what I'm saying? So salute, Tia. Yes. Life infected, inbred, clipped tailed. Yes. Hey, I'm going to take this acronym from you, Tia. I'm going to take that from you because that's amazing. Yes. Hey, we got a super chat in the building. Hey, salute to Sydney. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you for the super chat. He says, the saltine cowards like the pick off our women and children play slick games with the justice system. They will never be able to take us on head on in mutual combat. Never. They know this. FBI all day. Yes. Like I told you, everybody know this, man. I've trained since I was a young man in karate and also boxing. I was a wrestler in high school. Okay. This is what we do. I'm all for it, bro. I got into a lot of dust ups. Okay. And that's why I mentioned, hold up, let me bring this up for y'all. Let me take this down. But on my other channel, let me remove this and add this. On my other channel, we have a lot of behind the scenes content where we talk about a lot of the fight stories. All right. Me and the homies chopping it up about them situations where we was catching fades, bro. This is just what we used to do when we was young, man. We would catch a lot of fades, bro. We got into a lot of stuff, man. And as a youngster, right, that's where you build. You know what I'm saying? You build it up, right? And so as a grown man, all that starts to play into itself, right? It starts to play into itself. It starts to become, now that I've trained and I'm staying fit, I'm staying focused, I'm doing my due diligence. It's as well to counter, right, the fact that at some point these skills will have to be used. Okay? And once those skills have to be used, we got to be ready. We got to stay fit. We got to stay mindset on point. We got to stay physically and psychologically fit. And that's a part of what I'm going to start bringing to the channel is more of us making sure that we stay on our health, making sure that we stay training and making sure that we keep our head on the swivel because these people try everything that they can to antagonize us. And then at the same time, you already know what they're doing behind the scenes, trying to get advantages and trying to use weapons and all this other stuff because they don't want that mutual hand-to-hand combat. Like you mentioned, Sydney, they don't want that, bro. They don't because we already have shown many examples of what it takes. You feel me? Straight up, we don't play this. Hey, salute to you. She says they won't fight our men face to face, but they will take their insecurities out on their women. Yes, and that's why it's so sad because even when we had saw the story of the young lady who had got unalived over there in Africa and what she had said about our men, I felt so bad because I'm like, damn, she literally put herself in a position where she was sleeping with the enemy and she lost her life because of it. And it's real sad. It's a sad story, but hey, it is what it is, man. You choose, you lose. Hey, thank you, Tia. Yeah, Tia, I hope you subscribed. I hope a lot of y'all who are here are subscribed to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you hype the video because that helps me stay in the algorithm. Like I mentioned, we're trying to build it up. We're trying to get to 1,500 subscribers. That's the next goal, and we going for it, man. So salute to everybody. Thank you, Tia, for the compliment because I work hard on this content. I make sure I put it together in a certain way so that we can enjoy it together and have fun. Because like I mentioned, I enjoy cooking these races. This is something that I enjoy. I could be on here for hours cooking these foods. Trust and believe that. We're going to continue with the video, though.
What side of the political aisle would you describe yourself on?
I would say I lean more conservative, but I very much disagree with those that call themselves conservatives because I don't think they show conservative values right now.
I noticed the 1776 shirt, so you're conservative as well?
Yeah, I lean more like that. Like the more normal people, like, like Charlie, but like Chud the Builder, it's more like white supremacy than.
All right, y'all. So let's talk about him. All right. So if you see, he looked like he's melanated, but obviously there's something going on, some mixture within himself. And he associates himself with Charlie Kirk, who is obviously a racist and a white nationalist as well. But he's trying to, play it as though Chud is more extreme, but they're all part of the same bird. You feel me? They're all in the same bird, they're all the same people, straight up. Like we ain't finna play these games. Oh, well, I identify actually with Charlie Kirk. He's a racist too, bro. And to wear a 1776 shirt, like get out of here, bro. You're a clown and you're a confused. Thank you, Torian. That's a great acronym. Confused. You're confused, bro. You're confused, bro. You don't know who you are, man. You need to wake up. Because regardless of what you may think about how you look and what you identify as, what they see you as is an N-word. All right. They see you as an N-word, just like they do with us. All right. Just like Chud would call me an N-word, he will call you an N-word. But you want to be stupid and act like, oh no, like I identify with Charlie. No, Charlie was a racist too, bro. All right, he was a racist too, bro. So whatever. Tia, yep. The health movement is hand in hand with our delineation for our men, women, and children. Yes, it all coincides because we got to take care of each other, not only when it comes to our topics and us raising our consciousness and our self-worth and knowledge of self. It also comes to the training aspect and the health aspect, right? Because I was obviously inspired by the Black Panther Party and as well the Nation of Islam, right? But what coincided with those? They also coincided with a system of the diet, a system of the health regimen, a system of the martial arts training and weapons training, right? All those things coincide with those specific groups who were foundational in our civil rights movements. Okay. So as we continue to build, right, as foundational Black Americans, we need to make sure that we tapped in not only with just us making sure that we delineate, but that we are making sure that we are creating our food systems. We're taking care of one another. Like I mentioned, I'm a part of a food bank right here in Long Beach, California. We always are making sure that we're taking care of the community, but that is a viable source that I'm creating. So one day, right, if shit breaks down, y'all be like, hey, yo, B, I need this. I need some food, man. We running low over here. I'm going to call my people. They going to call their people, and we going to get it going. Because that's what we going to do over here. That's what we do over here. Come on, man. Biracial, yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Charlie, yes, was exactly past tense. He's out of there. He's out of there. He's gone. And mind you, that's white on white crime. Okay, you talking about Charlie, but Charlie was taken out by one of your own. Let's go straight up, man. Hey, Puerto Rican, it don't matter. How dare he wear the Michael Jackson Jerry curl? How dare you? How dare you try to manipulate and try to change the narrative, man, with my foundational Black American icon, okay, Michael Jack. You feel me? If he were 2 shades darker, yeah, straight up, bro, they'll be on his ass. We already know what that is. We already know what that is. And look, we already know that Mike Jack, you know, that was his real texture. You know, that wasn't no curl, that was a real texture. You know what I'm saying? That ain't nothing but an ocean perm. Hey, salute JNN. He says, if we don't care about one another, we will perish. And that's real. Crabs in a barrel. Yeah, man. And so that's why it's important that we show solidarity amongst one another and we support one another in multiple facets, right? In all types of ways, because they're going to find their ways to take and use what they can against us. But we ain't going for it no more, man. Foundational Black Americans, delineation is real, and we stand locked in with one another, and we going to keep it going. Salute.
There's like conservative values.
Do you know anybody that actually wants Chud the Builder to be free?
Not personally. Just the big social media names.
You're outside Chud the Builder's courthouse right now. The fate of the future of white civilization is here. Will we allow the court system to weaponize against us, or will we stand up as heritage Americans?
And you know what's funny when he says heritage American? It's funny to me because let's keep it real. Jake Lang is Jewish. And if we're talking about white nationalist ideology, they are anti-Jew. Okay, I probably shouldn't have said the J word, right? But they're anti-small hat, right? They're anti-24 karat people. And so the fact that he rides so hard for these people when in reality, they would actually look at him as subhuman and as less than is actually quite funny to me, right? Because these people really don't know history, nor do they understand the fact that they are a target in their estimation, not mine, their estimation as white nationalists. This is just facts. They do not like 24 karat people. They do not like small hats. They do not support small hats. They actually have a problem with them. And that's just what it is, man. Salute to Torian. He says he's so out of shape. I saw a video of him trying to kick over an ice sculpture last year, and he damn near bust his ass. Yeah, listen, man, a lot of these guys are out of shape. A lot of them are out of shape. A lot of them are lacking, for a lack of better words, they are lacking in the physical requirements that it takes, right, to be who they think that they are. They lack in that space because, like I mentioned, bro, over here, we make sure that we staying fit physically, mentally, and psychologically. We don't play them games, bro. I'm in the gym almost every day, okay? And you already know I'm a surfer. So when it comes to swimming, when it comes to training in the pool, that is paramount to my survival in the ocean. So I don't play those games when it comes to making sure I stay fit, because the activities that I partake in, I have to. I cannot not be in shape, because if I go out in that ocean and I'm not on point, I will pay for it with my life. And mind you, I've been very, very close to death many a times. So I don't play them games, bro. I got to stay fit. It's not an option. That's the ones whose mom is baked. Yes, 100%. She had that phone call. I think Poetic Flacco got it, where he put out the phone call where she was trying to get some sympathy for this guy when in the jail. They're like, what? We don't care. Get out of here, bro. We don't care about none of that. Like, they don't, because it's the jail system. Take it or leave it. The fuck? Didn't he get a contempt? Yes, he got arrested. They escorted him away, and you saw there was a black cop. The black cop couldn't wait to get his ass. He said, "Bring your ass, get out of here," and took him right to the jail. But yeah, this loser right here, Jake Lang, out of shape, can't even do nothing with a fanny pack, and you know what's in the fanny pack. You already know what's in there, but this is what they do. You know what I'm saying?
For Chud the Builder.
So now that you guys know that this fucking weirdo came up to him and he took a blatant stance, even if he did take a blatant stance, how's it gone like this? It wasn't out. The dude hit him and
Amaru Fuddle, the immigrant. Amaru Fuddle, the immigrant loser who should, right? Because he works for the government. We understand he's a government op. He works for the government. He should understand concealed carry laws, right? Concealed carry laws already tell you, like I mentioned, the bladed stance, right? You take a bladed stance, concealed carry, you cannot consider it self-defense, bro. That is a antagonistic stance. You can't do it.
And they went to the ground. That's when shots were fired.
I mean, it does sound like a little bit of a case of self-defense. We're from Florida. You know what I mean? We got to stand your ground law. It's hard to know without all the facts. I don't.
All right. Look at this guy's nose. Look at his nose. You know what's going on with that nose. Y'all know what's going on with that nose, right? But let's talk about Florida, right? Salute to Lynn. She says he looks like a real milk dud, 100%. Milk dud, fat, out of shape, can't defend himself. Gonzo. Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah, if he don't get that Tweedledee, yeah, get out of here, bro. But yeah, let's talk about Florida stand your ground, right? They always bring up the stand your ground because of what happened to our brother Trayvon Martin, right? Rest in peace to Trayvon Martin, right? When they talk about it, they specifically love to reference the fact that stand your ground because of what Zimmerman did, right? And him able to skate and get away with that, right? A grown man who was also antagonizing a teenager, a child, okay? Now, with that being said, they love to always bring that up because they understand what that sends as a whistle, right? It's a whistle blow to other white supremacists about this stand your ground stuff when it's like, come on, man. He killed a teenager, bro. Y'all proud of that? Y'all proud of unaliving of a teenager, bro? Y'all are such cowards. I swear, these dudes are so cowardly. Look at the nose. Look at the nose. Look at this dude, a coward. Look at that chin. That chin getting checked every time. That chin getting checked every time. Every time. Every time, bro. Salute to Lynn. She says they have been talking badly about our arresting for decades. Yes, indeed. 100%. R.I.P. Trayvon. Salute. One of the saddest stories to ever, wipe our whole community, man. Just terrible, bro. I hated that case because I was his age. Yes. I remember that it hit me so hard because at that time I was fairly young and I had nephews, you feel me? And I have nephews, obviously. And I just thought about them and I thought about my community and I thought about my neighborhood. I'm like, dang, like if I sent my nephews to go get something from the store, what would happen? It was so sad, man. And it really shook up our community in the right ways. You know what I'm saying? It really should have, man. It was a shame. It was, man. It really was. And they had him, man. And mind you, he made money off of that. He sold the gun, all that. And that's why, if you guys look at my channel, I did an update on the fact that George Zimmerman is actually homeless. He's actually homeless. He's broke. All that money he made, it didn't mean nothing. It went for nothing. It went for nothing. All that money he made, it was for nothing because he's still broke. He's still destitute. His situation never got better. So F George Zimmerman, bro. I hope Trayvon was minding his own business. Yes, Ezra, he wasn't bothering nobody, man. He was going to see his dad. Yes, so sad, man. Florida FBAs are real wounded down bad. Yes, man. Yes. So let's continue on the video because y'all killing me in the chat. I can't keep up.
I don't know about premeditating a confrontation or what. You want to get maced right now?
There's always a time and place, and whether you deem something disrespectful or respectful doesn't negate the fact that you have the right to express yourself in this country.
All right. So like I mentioned, right? Like I mentioned, they always try to use that, oh, I should be able to say whatever I want in this country. Sure. You know what? I agree. But what that doesn't exempt you from is consequence. Consequence has to be a part of this conversation. It cannot just be, hey, I could say whatever I want. No, when you speak, there will be consequences for that. And like I'm gonna keep saying this. You call me the N-word, we catching a fade, bro. We catching a fade. That's it. We catching a fade, bro. That's it. And then whatever happens after that happens after that. but I got to stand on mine as a man. Ain't nobody finna call me no N-word. I'm a man. I'm a man. I ain't no N-word. All right. And that's why I make it clear on my channel. I don't cuss over here. I don't use the N-word. I don't participate in that behavior, because they always try to say, well, black people use it. Well, guess what? We don't use that word over here. So now you ain't got no excuse. If you call me the N-word, we catching a fade, bro. And it's going down straight up. Whatever happens, happens straight up. He's miserable. And that's why he blew through it. Yes, 100%. His own self. He's lost straight up, man. Trayvon is a modern day Emmett Till. This is also another energy grab. We can't have another delay of justice. Yes, 100%. And that's why it was so important when we started to see what happened to Ahmaud Arbery, when we started to see what happened to George Floyd. We hit them streets. We hit them streets. I was out there frontlining. Okay, when the homies was out there about to run out and about to do what they was doing, we was out there straight up. Anybody can tell you in Long Beach, we was frontline out here when George Floyd and all that, man, we was frontline. That's all I got to say. She's got a time and a place. Yeah, man, she gonna get hers because her face is out here. Her face is out here. She's stupid enough to put her face on these. Stand on it. Cool. Stand on it. Stand on it. Right? I don't have time for the games. They need to make it plain with me. Yes, you call me the N-word, we're catching a fade. Look at this dude, shoeless caveman. Look at him.
Something like that out loud to somebody like that, man, I don't agree with it at all.
And if you don't like that, right, go move to fucking Canada where they don't have free speech laws.
With that being said, though, what did we learn in elementary school? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me, right? So I think at the
bruh, this is elementary to them. These people are idiots. They're literally elementary school of thought. And mind you, this is why I make it so clear that when it comes to the historical standpoint, especially on my channel, I always bring receipts because history has to be brought into this account. You can't just say sticks and stones may break my bones when you're speaking on a word with so much historical relevance, with so much pain behind it. You goddamn right. If you call me the N-word, it's up, bro. It's up. We catching fades, bruh. We catching a fade, bro. What we doing? Salute to Tia. She says, what happened to the judge and the legal teams on the Trayvon Martin case? Always kept an eye on them. Yeah, man. They went into hiding. They went back into their racist BS because we already knew what that was. Straight up. We already knew what that was. As foundational Black Americans, we already knew what that was because we've been dealing with these type of judges and this system for over 400 years. Straight up.
Same time to play devil's advocate. No matter what you call somebody, a grown-ass man should be like, okay, cool, walk away, right? To go and fight each other over it is kind of crazy to me on both sides.
Let's turn it on its head. Put the shoe on the other foot. You're a black man. You're calling me a cracker. If I was to then assault you, you were just exercising your freedom of speech. And we don't have words in this country that are illegal to say. If you're not threatening to kill somebody or strewing words together, which are a threat to someone's.
Now listen to this crap. This dude tried to compare the cracker word to the N-word. This is why I mean these people are so primitive. They're so primitive. They don't have any real school of thought. They don't think deeper. They're not critical thinkers. And that's what makes them so easy to take advantage of. That's why Donald Trump talks to them the way that he talks to them, because they are lacking of any level of real intelligence. And that's why I love my subscribers, because you guys are very intelligent. You guys are critical thinkers. You guys actually know what's going on. Okay? And liars, yes, 100%. And they're liars, yes. Sub V says, telling me where I can move is crazy when most of these people don't do anything for the country besides talk. No sacrifice, no help, no contributions, nothing. No giving back. They don't do that. They don't participate in giving back, nothing. Let's not talk. Come on, man. I'm gonna keep these people, let them expose themselves. Look at this dude.
Mortal being, but calling somebody a name that they don't like or don't prefer, that doesn't give somebody just cause to then beat you up for that.
It's just disrespectful as hell. Like, you gotta have some respect for people.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I view it. Like, if you don't have respect, then what kind of man are you?
Couldn't say it better myself.
It's not about the word. He did it with the intentions of antagonizing the Black community. He knew exactly what he was doing when he was doing it. He got exactly what he wanted. He wanted to shoot a Black man. That was his whole point.
Let me see a with a weapon. As soon as I see you, bro, I'm fucking shooting your brains out. Starting things and instigating and harassing people shoots and kills a Black man. That's what it's going to say all over the headline.
So
this is why I made it clear, man. He wanted this. This is what he wanted to do. They fantasize, okay? They fantasize about our pain. They fantasize about our unalivings. They fantasize about us in despair. They enjoy that. That's what tells you the demonic spirit that these people possess. And that's why I always try to make sure that I keep a certain moral and spiritual cover over what I do over here. Because when we speak on these topics, these are very dark topics, okay? This is dark. And so me being a believer, I'm always going to make sure I pay my respects to the Most High because he protects me from the darkness that these people possess inside their own heart, okay? And we wouldn't be able to even move as a people without that spiritual compass that is inside us that separates us from them. That's what makes us different. We move with a certain level of distinction and class and moral compass that they could never understand. And that's why they hate us. That's why they're jealous of us, because we actually stand on what we do. We actually have morals. We actually have a living system that we subject ourselves to. And mind you, yes, all of us are not the same. We're not a monolith, right? But a good majority of Black Americans live with a certain moral compass that we can be able to go out and live our lives with a certain level of spirituality and understanding. They don't have that in their community. They don't, bro. And that's why their community's in shambles. But they lie about it. They always talk this Christian stuff, but they ain't living that life, man. They're not real believers. He would not be out there supporting a Black version of Chud. Yes, 100%. This is facts. Yes, and the Pillsbury Doughboy. Yeah, man. You saw the build. That boy is built like a straight up busted Pillsbury. We could keep going, man. She didn't understand that Canada is ours too. I stand on it. Yes, we have been on these continents since the beginning of time. We are the first of all people. It was us right here, indigenous, all right? We don't even need to go back and forth about that. Indigenous, okay? That heavy dude ain't even, man. You speaking on some other stuff now. Shoeless man is honest at least. Yeah, give it up to him. I don't know if he's, there for the rally or he was just there, but we gonna cook him because we already know what time it is. Like, I really think some Black folks do not understand how demonic some of these folks are. Yes. And to go even further, right? They always talk about they love to hunt and they love to eat meat and do this and they skinning all this stuff. That's because they have a mutilation obsession. They are obsessed with eating people. That is a part of their culture, y'all. And it's getting dark, okay? But we gonna get dark because it's nighttime, so we gonna get a little dark. But that's what they're on. That's who they are, okay? So be careful. You know what I'm saying? Be careful. Salute to JNN. He says exactly. We were basically turned out in slavery and still have more morals than them because we are God's people. They tried to destroy us. Yes, they tried to like beat it out of us, man. And they couldn't because we still standing till this day, man. We still here. We still here till this day. Salute to Deontay Wilder, man. We still here. We still standing. We still gonna stand up to them, even in the face of every opposition that has been put up against us, every other group who has been put up against us, every other person they have used to try to undermine us, we still stand tall. We still here, man. Straight up. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Why would he go into these communities, starting trouble with them, constantly knowing what it does, knowing what that word, how that word makes us feel? He knew what he was doing when he did it.
If what you're doing is going around using racial slurs and profanity, that's a little different.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Are you gonna argue that in court? Don't walk up on me. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing but chimp out. Is trying to say I can't come in the store. Look at these dumbass chipping out. What y'all gonna do if I walk in the store? What are y'all gonna do if I walk in the store?
He thinks this city would condone his actions. That's crazy. He is a horrible person.
We don't want hate in Clarksville. We don't want that racism, that bigotry, none of that stuff.
Hey, what's up, guys? As many of you guys
All
know,
right. So we're going to leave it there, man. We're going to leave it right there. We're going to pin that. And I'm just going to chop it up with y'all now because enough with looking at this stupid dude's face. You know what I mean? I ain't got time for Chud the fairy who is having his own homosexual ideations and can't control himself because he feels inferior towards black men. Meanwhile, he's hiring black women to put things in his rear end. Okay? Y'all do with whatever with that information as you will. Okay? But this guy has problems, all right? And a lot of these dudes have problems, okay? All these dudes right here, they have problems, okay? All these Proud Boys and the Patriot Front, these, Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson and all these guys, they have problems. There's something wrong with them. They have something wrong with them. There's literally something wrong with them. These guys are literally cooked. And it's not on us as foundational Black Americans to save them. And that's why in this time that we're in as foundational Black Americans, how we have chose the couch, we have chose to allow this whole country to burn. This is symbolic. It's spiritual what's happening right now. We don't have any dog in this fight. Let them destroy this country. Because we've been warning them, we've been telling them for generations what was coming. They didn't listen, so now they got to deal with it. As foundational Black Americans, we got to move on. And what we're doing now is focusing on ourselves, investing in ourselves, pouring into one another. They're all cowards, you're right. Salute to LeVar, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you for pulling up. And I hope you're subscribed to the channel because this is what we do over here. We bring receipts. We talk about history. We cook white nationalist racist. There is a hierarchy here, and that's what we do over here, all right? We are aligned with other foundational Black Americans who do the same thing. We use our platform to not only raise awareness, but to make sure that we all locked in and that we keeping our head on a swivel because these people are demonic. There's something wrong with them. They have a problem and they need to address it within themselves. It's not on us. All right. And I always say this, foundational Black Americans, it's not your responsibility to make anybody feel comfortable. It is your responsibility to worry about you and your family. Everybody else does that. It's time for us to do that for ourselves, y'all. Make sure that you focus on yourselves. F everybody else. We don't got time for it, man. Thanks for the channel. Hey, man, we gonna keep it going. I swear we gonna keep it going. Straight up. He knew what he was doing. Yes, man, they got issues, big ones. All right. Lynn, she says they're the ones with whom we grew up with in school, and we've seen them before. Yeah, man. I tell people this story all the time. When I was in middle school, I grew up in Long Beach, you know what I'm saying? And Long Beach obviously is a very diverse city, right? But there was a huge Black American community in Long Beach, right? That's just what it was. My grandparents and my great-grandmother lived on the same street. I used to live down the street. Like our family was super close proximity. But my grandparents, when they had passed away, my mom going through her own emotions, she wanted us to move, and we moved to the Orange County area, a city called La Mirada. All right. La Mirada is right next to Buena Park. If you know where Knott's Berry Farm is, it's in that same area. It's that same community. Now, ironically, right? Do you guys remember that whites only town that was being built? I think it's in the Ozarks or whatever. The organizer who created that whole thing, he's from La Mirada, right? And mind you, he's around the same age as me. I know, coincidental? I don't know, but La Mirada is one of the most racist places I've ever been in my life. And when I moved there, I was literally one of the only black boys in the entire middle school. When I tell you, I had to catch so many fades and get going back and forth with these racist teachers, and bruh, it was literally 2 of the worst years of my life, y'all. I hated that place, and I still hate it till this day. La Mirada. I almost cussed, but I ain't gonna do it because I don't want to mess up the stream. But yeah, F La Mirada. I hate that place, and I hate the fact that the dude who organized that all-white town is from La Mirada, because all it does is it vindicates my thoughts and my feelings towards that city. F La Mirada. I hate that place. Straight up, bro. He's a coward and they're all cowards. Yes, 100%. Y'all hit the like button. Yes, Tia, thank you. Hit the like button. Show your boys some support. You know what I'm saying? Do the things. LeVar says the thing is we don't care about them. We don't, man. We don't. We be worried about ourselves, man. We be worried about ourselves. We over here, like I mentioned, y'all could go up in the chat, but go all the way to the top of the chat when I first started the stream. You're gonna see all them YT boys mad because we out here calling them out. You can see the comments. They up there. They up there, okay? So salute to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Tia, man. Uh-oh, yeah, man. Hey, Lynn, I'm telling you, it was Orange County is mad racist, 100%. It is one of the most racist places in Southern California, okay? This is just facts. My cousin lives there. Yeah, man. Orange County is ridiculous, man. It is ridiculous, bro. Some of the biggest Trump rallies, some of the biggest Trump like supporters are in Orange County. And I know for a fact. Okay, I know for a fact, man. Hey, listen, my parents, they didn't know, you know what I'm saying? So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because I don't think they understood really how racist that place was and the density of how many black people weren't in that city. You know what I'm saying? My mom, she just wanted to get away for a while. And so obviously we did that. You know what I mean? My dad, he's big on flipping houses. So we went, he built up the house, we sold it, moved right back to Long Beach, man. Wasn't no games. We wasn't playing with these people. We got out of there as soon as we could. As soon as I hit high school, I think it was my 9th grade year, we moved back to Long Beach because we wasn't playing that, bro. And mind you, I had a lot of opportunities for sports. Obviously, like I mentioned, I was a former athlete. So we had to be closer in proximity to my high school, and it just made more sense. And that's just kind of what it was, man. Hey, that's what it be sometimes, man. They was hating on me, bro. A lot of that goes on. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way in St. Louis. Yeah, my sister is actually out in St. Louis right now. Her and her husband just recently moved to St. Louis. So all my FBAs out there, I might be visiting St. Louis sometime this summer. So we definitely gonna have to put me on to where to be, what spots to check out. You know, I want to see what's up with that St. Louis barbecue, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna definitely do it. But y'all know Ferguson, yeah, Ferguson is, we already know what happened in Ferguson, man. Rest in peace to Michael Brown. You know what I'm saying? My last namesake. You know, I feel like all of us Browns are somehow connected. And that's as well another stream that I want to do soon is foundational Black American last names, right? My last name is Brown, right? But I use Bay because obviously we already understand the lineage when it comes to the Moors and my indigenous roots, but my real last name is Brown. And a lot of us, obviously, as foundational Black Americans, share the same last name as Brown. So I want to do some like, some deep diving in the relevance to what those last names actually mean. So we're gonna do a stream on that. Black people from LA, maybe some of us tend to think everywhere is okay, but it's not. Yes, you are so right on that, JNN, because like I mentioned, and Long Beach is very diverse, you know what I'm saying? LA in general, but that's a part of it, man. We already know that. Glad they got up out of there. Yeah, me too, man. And they're real close by. I love my parents. I'm very close with my parents. As you guys know, we have a food bank together. My dad, he's a pastor, so he's very involved in the church, and he's also the pastor of one of the oldest Black American church establishments in Long Beach in general. You know what I'm saying? A very, very strong lineage of the church that we come from, man. It's been in our community since the 1940s, y'all. So it means a lot to us, and we love, our church community, man. They support us and we support them. You know what I'm saying? So salute to the parents. Florida guy says, sinners and saints come in all colors. When the lamb returns as a lion, you will all know. Florida guy, what is your race? Who are you? Where are you from? Why do you feel like all the sinners and saints come in all colors? I mean, obviously we know that, but I would like to know what your persuasion is so that we can get a little bit of perspective on your comment, sir. You're Cambodian. Okay. Salute to Cambodian. Obviously in Long Beach, there's a huge Cambodian community. One of my best friends is Cambodian. So I understand what you're saying, but tonight we're talking about white nationalists. That's the topic. I don't know if you just got in here, but that's who we're talking about right now. We're talking about white nationalists. So we're going to smash the gas on them tonight, if that's okay. Yeah, that's what we doing. You know what I'm saying? So salute. Yeah, Lynn, thank you. Yeah, I was wondering, saying, yeah, people be coming in here. You say comments, it's very noble comment, but bro, we talking about white nationalists tonight, bro. I don't care about nobody else. We talking about them. That's just what it is, bro. Hey, thank you, JNN. Hey, JNN, man, you've been in here since day one, so you're a real supporter, man, and I really do appreciate the support, man, because we building, like I mentioned, this channel, we growing it, and we trying to do what we can. And like I mentioned, make sure that you guys go ahead and subscribe to my other channel, Elite Media, because we need to make sure that we get that channel as well, some subscribers, because like I mentioned, I have exclusive content on that channel where there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, a lot of real conversations, stuff that I don't post on my main Brandon Bay channel, because obviously I like to deviate. So I need y'all to go over there and subscribe to that channel as well, so that we can get both of my channels monetized. You know what I mean? That's just what we're doing. I love that. You know what I mean? I love to have options. You know what I mean? Just in case, y'all know how YouTube be doing us. So we got to make sure that we have multiple channels that we can, dip into if anything ever happens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I knew something was going on. Yeah, we gotta stand on business. They don't ever want to talk about them. Yeah, they don't. And that's my thing, is like, you can even look on my channel when it comes to the views or like the comments and stuff like that. A lot of them conversations, when I'm talking about the white tees, they get real uncomfortable. They don't like it. And I don't care, bro, because I'm gonna smash the gas on them. I could talk about, anything else for sure. But no, bro, we're going to talk about stuff that's actually a threat to us, which is white nationalists. It's a threat. They are a threat to our community. And so I got to talk about them, bro. I'm not going to let them slide. I'm sorry. We're not, bro. Get out of here. Hey, thank you, man. I'm trying, bro. My parents, they set a real high bar, man. I'm even going to lie to you. My parents are some real, like, stomp down good people. Like, when I tell you the salt of the earth, like, great human beings, you know what I'm saying? Wouldn't hurt a fly, completely nice. When we talk about what a Christian should be and what they should represent, my parents are that. They are the embodiment of that. And so I try my best to just, follow in their footsteps. And, I try my best to make sure that I pay them homage every opportunity that I get, because, we all getting older, and you got to make sure that you give your parents their flowers while they're here, because you only get so much time with them. You know what I mean? And I cherish my parents. I tell them I love them every single time we talk, because they are important to me. You know what I'm saying? We got our last name like Taylor. It came from clothes. Yes, 100%. Like my last name Brown obviously is a reference to our skin color, right? But as well, there was also a lineage part where there were breakdowns of specific people that we wanted to associate ourselves with. And so we called ourselves Brown when we renamed ourselves when we were trying to get away from the colonizer last name. You dig? So also my mom's side, her last name is Cook, right? Cook, which was a part of, like you mentioned, a lot of the occupations that we were a part of. My great-great-grandfather was a farmer. His brother was also a farmer, and they had farms next to each other in Clarksville, Texas, right? They were the Cook brothers, and they also created churches and schools in Clarksville, Texas. And one day I'm going to go to Clarksville, Texas, and I'm going to do a whole video. I'm going to go back and we going to show y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because it's there. I know it's there. I just got to find it. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Shah Yah 8. They say the more threatened the white nationalists feel, the more we are on their minds. Yes, they are obsessed with us. 100%. The generic positivity that attempts to disarm the meat of what we speak is a mess. Yes, like we don't play those games, man. I don't care, dude. I'm not gonna play these games with them. I'm gonna press the line every single chance I get. I'm gonna go hard on them every single chance I get. I don't care, man. Shout out to all races, but in America, all that matters is black and white. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read these comments and I gotta go, man, because y'all know, man, I still have a business, so I gotta work tomorrow. So I'm gonna read y'all comments and we gonna shut it down for the night. I'm gonna let y'all sleep and rest, because rest is important, y'all. All right. So if you are an immigrant, you are black to them, unless you want to use or manipulate for other reasons. Yeah, man. And look, if you want to delineate, too late, because we already have. So if you want to be African, be African. You want to be Peruvian, you want to be whatever, Panamanian, do that. We black Americans, we foundational black Americans. We gonna do what we do. Yeah, man. All that matters. Yes. Okay, I read that one, I think. Yes, please follow my Elite Media channel. Do that. Make sure you guys subscribe to that one too. Mind you, I do, I stream on both channels, but I sometimes post exclusive content over there that I don't post here. So make sure y'all go over there and peep the content. It's something to which they aren't accustomed to, because they're used to it being us who are discussed. Yes. And that's why I be over here cooking their ass, because I see so many other channels, a lot of these coons who want to cook black people all the time. Nah, bro, I'm gonna cook them now. We're gonna make money off of them now. We're gonna get views off of them now. F that. Nah, bro, it gotta go both ways. Straight up. Mine is Willard Ferguson, fear of a man / choice. Yeah, Ferguson obviously is a part of, you know what I mean? Like my partner who I do a lot of content with, J-Rock, his last name is Forkland, and that's actually a town in Texas. So his roots come directly from Texas. So I already know those connections are a part of, as well, proximity. So we also play those parts too. You know what I'm saying? And like I mentioned, we're gonna do a stream specifically about foundational Black American last names, and we're gonna get into it because I find it to be so interesting, like just about like the origins of our last names and how the fake narrative about, oh, we took the slave owner's last name. Well, some of us did, but if you look at the history and you do the research, some of us changed our last names to identify with who we are. And so that part gets left out. So I'm going to make sure that we do a stream on that so that we can have like, you know, some type of dialogue around it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's it. I appreciate y'all for always pulling up. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, man, because that's important. And make sure you guys hype the video. It keeps me in the algorithm, man. So thank you all for pulling up. I really do appreciate everybody who takes time to even be in these streams with me. Y'all be, you know, like I said, y'all keep me going. And I'm so thankful for you guys, man, because we're building a community. Y'all not just subscribers, y'all family. You know what I mean? And we gonna move that way. We're moving like family, y'all. So much love to you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm out. Peace.